the grim impacts of climate change in the global south, where the people who have done least to create the problem suffer those impacts, that when they come to us, to our front step, to our doorstep, we're horrified. But of course, we've been effectively dumping that pollution on the global south now for many decades. And I think just talking for a minute about the carbon inequalities involved here is really, really startling and striking. The average resident of Mali in Africa uses only as much carbon every year as the average British tea kettle. The average American refrigerator has a larger carbon footprint than the average resident of Nigeria, which is not even a poor African country by African standards. It's a middle-income African country. And historically, the entire continent of Africa has contributed something like at most 3%, according to some tabulations, as little as 1% of the disruption to the climate that has been caused primarily by the US and Europe over the last couple of centuries. And that is a lasting monument. I don't think that many people appreciate just how dramatic a contribution and a disruption, a degradation that project has really been. We have now added more carbon to the atmosphere by weight than the sum total of everything that has ever been built on this planet by humans. There's more carbon in the atmosphere today than the sum total of all living matter on life today, on Earth today. So we have done more damage to the world's atmosphere through the burning of fossil fuels than everything we have ever done on this planet. And it will last for centuries at least, and probably millennia, which means that we are going to be reaping the consequences of this damage for many, many generations to come. The choices we are making today will determine whether we navigate that future at a relatively lower level of warming or a relatively higher one. But it's quite perverse and disheartening to see leaders in countries like the US and Canada and Europe as well lecture the nations of the developing world, try to stop financing even for their, or not aid financing for their renewable energy development, while we at home continue to approve fossil fuel programs, which, while relatively small in the global scheme of things, just add to our gargantuan and sort of unforgivable climate debt.